It was 1977 when the plane carrying the band Lynyrd Skynyrd crashed in the Mississippi woods, taking with it some of the most iconic figures in Southern rock. But was it really just an accident? Or do mysteries and unsettling coincidences lurk behind that tragedy? In this episode, we will explore the theories surrounding the death of Ronnie Van Zant and other band members, from eerie premonitions to little-known curiosities. Get ready to uncover what may have been hidden behind Lynyrd Skynyrd's tragic fate.
Murder Ballads, a podcast dedicated to real-life mysteries and true crime stories. Tune in every Wednesday at 5:55 p.m. for a journey into some of the most intriguing and chilling cases in history. The podcast is created by Chris Mariotti, the leader of the noir rock band Edgar Allan Poets, and features their music throughout. The theme song, The Shadow, sets the perfect tone for this dark and captivating series. Follow us for more noir music and unsettling stories.
Lynyrd Skynyrd is one of the most important names in Southern rock, known for their unique mix of blues, country, and rock and roll. The band was formed in the early 1960s in Jacksonville, Florida, and was initially called My Backyard, a rather bland name, far from the legendary status they would later achieve. But how did they come up with the name Lynyrd Skynyrd? The name stems from an ironic twist. Lynyrd Skynyrd, a high school gym teacher the band absolutely loathed. This teacher was particularly strict about school rules regarding long hair, banning all male students from growing their hair out, something that obviously didn't sit well with the band's future members, who embraced a rebellious style. As an act of pure defiance and satire, they decided to rename themselves Lynyrd Skynyrd, pronounced with a strong Southern drawl. Despite this humorous origin, their career turned into a massive success story, producing iconic hits like Sweet Home Alabama and Free Bird. These songs became anthems of American rock, propelling the band to legendary status. But with fame also came tragedy, and Lynyrd Skynyrd's destiny changed forever on October 20th, 1977. The tragic crash. It was October 20th, 1977. The band was on tour promoting their album Street Survivors, but instead of traveling by bus or car like many groups, Lynyrd Skynyrd opted for an old Convair CV-240 airplane. It wasn't a new aircraft, and many people had expressed concerns about its condition, but the band, tired of traveling in other ways, decided to take the risk. After all, what does a rock band with fans all over the world have to fear? That evening, however, things took a turn for the worse. Shortly after taking off from Greenville, South Carolina, the plane began to lose altitude due to mechanical failure. With insufficient fuel to reach its destination, the pilot attempted an emergency landing in the Mississippi woods, but unfortunately, the aircraft crashed. Ronnie Van Zant, the band's charismatic leader, Steve Gaines, his sister Cassie Gaines, and other members of the crew lost their lives. The crash shocked the entire music world. The media, fans, and even critics were in disbelief. But soon, strange details about the accident began to emerge. Theories and conspiracies. As often happens with sudden and tragic events, conspiracy theories quickly surfaced surrounding the Lynyrd Skynyrd crash. Many questions arose. Why were they flying in such a rundown plane? What really caused the fuel depletion? And most importantly, was the death of Ronnie Van Zant and the others truly an accident, or was there something darker behind it? One of the main theories revolves around a series of eerie coincidences. It is said that Ronnie Van Zant, just days before the crash, made ominous remarks about his own death. In an interview, he allegedly stated, "I won't live to see 30. These words now sound like a grim prophecy, considering that Van Zant died at the age of 29. Some believe he had a premonition of his fate, fueling speculation that his death was more than just a random plane crash. Another theory suggests that the band was under some sort of curse. The plane had already experienced technical issues, and members of the band had voiced concerns about its safety. Some conspiracy theorists believe that someone deliberately sabotaged the flight to put an end to the band's growing influence in the rock scene. It's interesting to note that many tragic events in rock history have been accompanied by similar theories. One of the most unsettling aspects of the tragedy is the cover of their final album, Street Survivors, released just days before the crash. The original cover depicted the band engulfed in flames, with Steve Gaines, one of the members who perished, at the center of the image. After the accident, the record label decided to change the cover out of respect for the victims and to avoid morbid associations. This detail further fueled conspiracy theories. Some view the original cover as a sort of visual prophecy of the tragedy that would befall the band. Some suggest it was an ominous sign or even a curse, while others consider it a chilling coincidence, adding to the mystery surrounding their deaths. Despite the tragedy, Lynyrd Skynyrd did not disappear from the music scene. In the years that followed, the band reunited with Johnny Van Zant, Ronnie's younger brother, as the new frontman. However, their music has always carried the weight of the tragedy and the legacy left behind by the original members. Their story left an indelible mark on rock history, but also a series of mysteries and unanswered questions. The 1977 crash remains an open wound for their fans. Beyond the tragedy and conspiracy theories, there are also lesser-known facts about Lynyrd Skynyrd's rise to fame. For example, Ronnie Van Zant was known to be a very reserved and thoughtful person, quite different from the rebellious rock star image often associated with him. Another little-known fact is his passion for baseball. As a young man, he dreamed of becoming a professional player before music took over his life. Another fascinating aspect of Lynyrd Skynyrd's legacy is their relationship with the American South. Although Sweet Home Alabama is considered an anthem of the South, the band wasn't always comfortable being associated with Southern politics. The song itself was written as a tongue-in-cheek response to Neil Young, specifically his song Southern Man and Alabama. In these tracks, Young harshly criticized the American South for its history of slavery, racism, and segregation, using strong imagery to condemn social injustice. Lynyrd Skynyrd, a band deeply connected to the South and proud of their roots, decided to respond with Sweet Home Alabama. but not in an entirely hostile way. The lyrics explicitly mention Neil Young. Well, I hope Neil Young will remember, a Southern man don't need him around anyhow. The song doesn't outright deny the South's problems, but seems to defend a sense of pride and belonging to the region, suggesting that the South, despite its historical mistakes, doesn't need external condemnation from someone like Neil Young. This gives the song an ironic tone, both a rebuttal and a celebration of the South, with an upbeat and patriotic melody. However, it's interesting to note that Ronnie Van Zant, in various interviews, stated that he was actually a fan of Neil Young and that there was no real hostility between them. The song was more of a playful jab than a personal attack. Young himself later admitted that he liked Sweet Home Alabama and that his criticism was directed at the system, not ordinary people from the South. And so ended the life of Ronnie Van Zant, a great rocker who left us with incredible music. One of Lynyrd Skynyrd's most iconic songs is Free Bird, but in the end, birds have stronger wings than airplanes.
Thank you for listening to Murder Ballads, the podcast created by Chris Mariotti, leader of Edgar Allan Poets. Follow the band on social media at Edgar Allan Poets. The theme song is called The Shadow. Don't miss the next episode, where we'll dive into another dark story, a dissonant note that will mesmerize you like the voice of the sirens. Until then, stay safe, and always remember to keep it noir.